friends, and welcome to another edition of the Bill Crane Sports Report. My good friend Gary Patterson is back. He's been out with on the disabled list.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
And is back, hale and hearty and frisky and ready to go.
Had some health issues, but I'm on my way back, so feeling good.
Attaboy. Well, it's great to have you back, and we got a lot of catching up to do.
Indeed, we do.
I have got 3 or 4 little tidbits. Then we're going to get to the Patriots.
Okay.
Carl Soderberg for the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah.
5 years, $23.75 million. $4.75 million per year is 10 goals.
10 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's got 31 assists.
Okay.
But is that a 10-goal scorer gets that kind of money now?
Apparently, I mean, people still throw the money around, and goal scoring is such a premium. People look at him and they say, there's no reason this guy can't score 20 to 25 goals. But he doesn't, right? So.
And they also made another wonderful signing. Old friend Brad Stewart, the defenseman. They signed him to a 2-year contract.
2 years.
2 years. $3.6 million a year.
Wow.
Brad is holding down a seat in the press box. Played 6 games this year.
Wow.
Talk about no-show jobs in Boston with the politicians.
Where do I sign up for that?
So I don't know about Colorado.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what they're doing.
Ben Cherington has gone on to better things. He's teaching sports management at Columbia University. You know the old saying, those that can do it, do it.
Right.
Those that can't, teach it.
Right. Yeah.
And let me tell you something. I think as time goes on, I think Cherington is going to have goat horns on him.
Yeah.
He really, just one mess after another.
Yeah, it was he started out with such promise too, and he seemed like he really knew what he was doing.
I worked with a fellow over the Foxborough Company by the name of Bob Griswold. Bob's a great guy, good friend and everything, but Bob didn't say a lot. And in meetings, Bob didn't say much at all. So that when Bob spoke, everybody went, waiting for every word.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bob was, he's like, I'm fooled. Oh,
yeah, you might say the same thing about Cherington, I guess.
I wonder.
Last year when he made the signings that he made with Ramirez and Sandoval, I mean, I don't ever remember a signing where just people that I know who are sports fans, right, just universally said, "What the heck is he doing? Really?" Sandoval and
what happened to John Henry?
Right.
And Larry Lucchino, the brain trust, the baseball guys. Did they both go brain dead? And I think Lucchino was on his way out at that point.
And now they're saddled.
Anyway. Yeah.
Right? I mean, good luck dealing with these guys. People say trade them. It's like, where the heck are you going to trade them? Who's going to pick them up? You're going to have to.
And all that, but everybody knows he's damaged. The both of them are damaged goods. And, if they could get 10 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, I mean, it's a given you're going to have to eat the money, right? So.
Yeah. But they can't keep them around because they're both going to be cancers.
Yeah.
The sports story of the year. I am now ready to reveal.
Okay.
American Pharoah won the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Then he won the $5 million Breeders' Cup. And at the distance of 1.25 miles, the record for all tracks, 1.25 miles, 2 minutes, 5 3/10 seconds.
Okay.
He took he won the Breeders' Cup 2 minutes flat.
Wow.
2 minutes, .07 seconds.
That's a big difference, right?
Seconds.
Yeah.
You figure in horse racing, a fifth is a horse's length.
Okay.
That's 25 lengths.
Yeah, probably. I
Yeah.
guess. That's amazing.
Or is a length a second? I think maybe it's a length as a second. Anyway, it was a phenomenal feat.
Yeah. Super horse.
Yeah. He now retires to a breeding farm in Keeneland, Kentucky.
So would you put him up there with Secretariat?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Secretariat was the best horse I ever saw.
Right.
Oh,
Just dominance, right? Running away from everybody.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I'd
Ani,
like to have a cut of his stud fees.
oh, well, you know what? I don't think he's doing well as a stud.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't seen too many of his get in the winner's circles. And that's hard to believe, too, because, and then you look at ordinary horses with superb bloodlines, and they knock out all the great horses.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, if he needs some stud advice, he should give you a call.
Amen, brother. Ani Bela has been named AAA manager for the Florida Marlins baseball team.
Okay.
No one has ever said why the Red Sox fired him. According to news reports, I've heard him described as a scapegoat.
For who?
For what? Yeah. He's a no-nonsense guy.
Okay.
You talk to him, you meet him, he's like the pride of the Marine Corps, you know?
Okay.
You say to yourself, if I was going to go in battle, I'd like him on my side.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
I didn't find him terribly enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
My guess, and this is just the wildest guess I can come up with. Maybe he said something about Torey Lovullo turning the team around from the laid-back ways. He got them playing fundamental baseball. He got them to come to the park with enthusiasm. He gave some spirit to the team and blah, blah, blah. And maybe the front office didn't really like that. Maybe Farrell didn't.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
it. I don't know. Other than that, I can't think of any reason why you let the guy go.
Yeah. But yet, Lovello is...
Still there in the bench coach. And
ultimate-
he didn't want to go
loyalty.
anyplace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Interesting.
after you explain to me why Ani Bela got let go, tell me about Don Orsillo and why he got let go.
That's a good question. I know they like the new guy a lot, but
And he's an excellent
and
announcer.
he is an excellent announcer.
But
There's no question.
Orsillo added the entertainment factor,
Yeah.
and he played, and they played. Jerry Remy and he played off each other perfectly.
really well.
They
Really
were
well.
really
Yeah.
good together.
Yeah. I'm sure
I-
Remy's upset by this. I would think.
Very upset.
You know,
Very
They
upset.
did seem to have a good, nice charisma between the two of them.
They really enjoyed one another's
Yeah.
company, you know. So now Orsillo, because the fact that he was such a good announcer and such an interesting person, picked up a 6-year deal from San Diego.
San Diego, yeah.
So I'm glad to see when you get kicked in the butt, you come up and smelling like a
I
rose.
figured he'd land on his feet. You know,
Yeah,
that
there's
kind
some
of talent.
talk too that the cable company that controls the games from San Diego also has the LA Dodgers, and that he may slide in as Vin Scully's
When Vin
replacement.
finally
Yeah,
rides off into the sunset, if he...
this is last year for him.
Oh, this is
He
the
said
last
this
year.
is it.
Okay.
And he's just doing home games. Because I think he only did home games last year too.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. I can't give you any idea on Orsillo at all. A couple of guys I've talked to said he might have winked at the wrong lady or something like that.
I haven't heard any backstories
No,
on it.
me neither.
So,
No,
hard
and
to
that's
say.
funny too because usually that kind of stuff leaks out.
yeah,
Nothing, not a word.
right. You know, I don't know if you got blamed for ratings. I think we're down a little bit last year, but the team was terrible.
19%.
Yeah.
But hell's bells, Gary. It's like a restaurant. You stop feeding,
Right.
producing good food, business falls
This is
off.
Boston. You know, if you win, you're going to have the viewers.
Yep.
If you lose, you're not.
That's exactly right. Well, sir, the Patriots.
Yes, indeed.
They played Denver better than Carolina did. Other than that, I have nothing to say.
Well, it was a very disappointing end to the season, certainly, and unpatriot-like the way they faded down the stretch. You know, you hear a lot about Belichick and saying, you know, I'd rather go into the playoffs healthy than have home field, but this time I think it really cost them. You know, look at some of the games that they lost, starting with the Eagles, to lose it decisively to the Eagles at home.
You know, you can say, well, we had it clinched. You didn't show up for the game.
You know, their record in Denver is terrible. This idea, there was a lot of overconfidence in the fan base of, oh, no problem, we go out to Denver and win.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, historically, that's just not been the case, right?
Denver is a graveyard for a lot of teams.
Yeah. So, you know, I really was disappointed in how the season ended, quite frankly, because when we were sitting there at 10-0, I mean, it looked realistic to think we could go back to back.
16-0.
Yeah.
How many people were saying 16-0? Look
Right. We're gonna
at
run
the
the
6
table.
teams we got. Yeah.
Brady's revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really disappointing, but you know, but I still think they're poised with some minor moves. When you look at this team right
Well, yes and no. 2 areas they have got to straighten out: the offensive line
now, yeah,
and the receivers, the wide receivers.
Right.
We still don't have the burner that can stretch the field.
yeah.
And I got to tell you something. I don't know what happened to JoJo LaFell, but did he have 5 injuries that were all kept secret or something? Or?
Well, he certainly had something, and you never know. You never know with the Patriots. That's the problem. You really, you know.
Because you'll never know.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Marcus Cannon. And you know, because
dreadful.
he was dreadful this year. But you know, was he hurt? I don't know if he was hurt.
I don't know either, but he's injury prone.
He has been. Yeah.
Yeah. And coming down the stretch, he was terrible.
He was, and
I mean, they were just beating him like a drum.
the offensive line was a major issue. Now, you know, you feel a little better that when you watch Carolina's offensive line just get dominated in the Super Bowl by Denver. I mean,
Denver's defense,
just rose
and
to such a level.
the schemes that they throw at you.
Yeah.
I mean, Belichick is a resident genius, and I'm sure that next year he'll have his act together. But the offensive line and the wide receivers just didn't do it.
I'd throw the corner in there too. I mean, they were one injury away. You know, they're starting having Butler and Logan Ryan. Nice. They both played 16 games, so you were fortunate there.
Very
But I'll tell you, if one of
fortunate.
those guys went down, they had
Then we
nothing.
get a bunch of guys called Joe.
Nothing behind
Yeah,
them.
and nothing is right.
Which goes right back to I still don't understand the urgency to get rid of Kyle Arrington.
I think.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
but
I
yet
mean-
yet they were significantly under the salary cap again.
Yep.
To
But
the tune of $12 to $14 million.
I think he's got this idea that this is what I pay cornerbacks.
Right.
This is what I pay slot receivers. This is what I pay wide receivers.
Right.
And when you get too big for your britches, go, because I can replace you.
But that number, quite frankly, is below market in probably every one of those
I think you're right.
situations. Right?
Yeah. But then he goes over market with Gronk,
Yeah.
and as well he should.
As you should.
He's the best tight end in the universe.
But you know, you look back and you say, not so much. I look at it and say, okay, he made some decisions which we all questioned. He let Revis go. You know, Revis had a so-so year. He had injury problems. He was okay. he let Browner go. Browner was awful this year.
Browner was awful.
Browner was absolutely terrible for
Gary?
New Orleans this year.
Unless I missed something, Browner wasn't much when we had him.
Right. Right.
I mean, he's a physical presence, but he is not a good cover man.
But then they didn't, once again, they really didn't bring in the depth behind them, you know?
Browner should be a safety,
Yeah,
not a corner.
yeah. I think he's going to be nothing. I think he got released, right? New
He
Orleans
did.
Released him.
Yeah.
So I think he's done.
Oh, he'll catch on with somebody.
Maybe during
Yeah.
the season as people get hurt, maybe.
Yeah. Who knows? The Patriots might even ask him back.
He's slow.
He is.
He's a step behind
Yes,
everybody.
he is. He is indeed. But I'll tell you what. I shudder watching Chung out there. I'm just waiting for
Yeah.
another disaster. He's not a good cover man.
No, and he was oftentimes set up as the slot guy,
Yeah.
your third corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, doing the job that Kyle Arrington did the year
And
before.
you look at some of the replays, you know, and
So-
guys have a length and a half on them. And,
Right.
Oh,
So when I look at the corners, I don't really have an issue that they let Revis and Browner go. I guess
no,
they-
Revis was, you know.
You know, I'm not paying. I guess they were right not to pay him $20 million a year. But my issue is they didn't bring anybody in behind them.
That's right. Yeah.
And all year I've said it all year. If one of those corners goes down,
Yeah, and
They're
who
cooked.
really thought? I mean, that they both play as well as they did.
they did. You got to give them credit.
Whew.
Logan Ryan especially stepped up, and Butler proved he's for real.
Oh, Butler proved he's for real, big time.
But depth is obviously an issue. We saw it in the offensive line. We saw it all over the team, really.
Yeah, yeah. Now, you know, it seems to me they've got a logjam at center with
Yeah.
Andrews and Stork. Now, they're both pretty darn good centers.
Yeah.
One of them's got to become a guard.
Well,
Or
you
if
know,
they put on a few pounds of tackle.
From what you hear, they like these young guards they have. I mean, they have
Yeah.
spent some draft picks. They've been third, fourth, and fifth round picks the last couple of years, but they have spent the picks. They have a history of developing offensive linemen over time, back to the Stephen Neal days, right? So, and if your things you read seem to think the interior guys, Trey Jackson and Shaq Mason, they love these guys.
Yeah, they do.
So and
They
now
do, and
bringing
they're
Dante
rookies.
back.
You know, I mean, so we get a couple of years, you know, to see what these guys are. But from
Right.
what we see, they look good.
Yeah.
But
To me, the offensive line issue is more at the tackle position.
It
in
is.
that they really need a backup tackle who can play either side.
yeah, and I don't
And
know
that was supposed to be
whether
Marcus Cannon.
yeah, and I don't know whether Andrews is big enough to play it.
I don't think he is.
No.
He got stuck out there, I think. Was it him that got stuck out there? Or maybe it was Stork. Out
Stork.
of necessity.
Yeah,
And, you know, that's the point where you say, boy,
yeah. What are we doing here?
yeah.
Although Stork didn't do that badly.
No, I mean, he you know,
I mean,
he held his own.
he's a very
Tough
competitive guy.
Yeah.
yeah, very tough kid.
So I think they need to improve their offensive line play. I don't think they're going to do a lot, though, in terms of bringing people in. I think they feel they have them. They just need to develop them, bring Dante back. He's back now, coaching the offensive line. So
Yeah, and Gerard Mayo retires.
yeah. Good player, knew when to get out, I think.
I think you're absolutely
Couldn't
right.
stay healthy.
Couldn't stay healthy is right. What, 3 years,
3
in,
years
a row?
in a row
Yeah.
on the IR, yeah.
And you know, you say to yourself, gee, I've made 31 or 32 million dollars, whatever the hell he made, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe more than that. I've invested it wisely. I'm healthy. My family's growing.
Yeah.
Time to get out.
At 29.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised when I heard it. But at the
Yep.
same time, I thought, that's a good call.
You know,
on his part.
When
It's a brutal sport.
When we had him earlier in his career, he was just a tackling machine.
Yeah.
This year, he was not a tackling machine.
No, he was a step behind on a lot of plays.
Yeah. The day after the Super Bowl, Las Vegas Book Bovada posted the following odds for winning the 2017 Super Bowl. The Patriots, 9-1 favorite. Carolina, 10-1. Denver, 18-1.
Yeah, sounds about right to me.
That, I think, Denver 18-1. I think everybody's looking at the quarterback situation
Osweiler.
out there,
Yeah.
and they're saying, Peyton looks like an old man stumbling around out there.
Yeah, he's done.
And the kid is not the second coming of Peyton Manning.
Right.
So I think, but they'll be in it with that defense. But
They will.
there's a couple of the defenders on that team that are free agents.
Yeah.
That could boogie. So
Yeah. I think they'll keep Von Miller. I mean, they'll find a way to
Oh.
keep him. Right. He's one of them.
he's the franchise.
Right.
Really and truly is. Concussions in the National Football League went from 114 to 182.
Right.
Now,
Kind of reversing the trend of heading down.
yeah. So let me ask you something. Do you think this is because they've installed a much stricter regimen on the sidelines to test these guys? Or do you think it's because the game continues to get more violent?
I think it's primarily because they have much more stringent guidelines now.
Okay.
I think there were a lot of guys continuing to play, thinking, Wes Welker a couple of years ago, right? When he looked like he had no idea where he was. So I think that's more than anything.
Derek Sanderson took a hit in a game and came back to the bench woozy. And Chivas was the backup goalie. And Chivas said, "How many fingers am I holding up?" And Sanderson said, 3. And he said, "Oh, that's better than you usually do." That was the concussion test then.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole different time.
It is.
I do think that game is incredibly violent,
Yep.
but we know that. To me,
I don't want this to become flag football.
no, I don't either. But I think they need to look at the helmets. I think there's a better design out there, probably.
There is.
That will absorb shock.
The hockey players, there was a hockey helmet designed, and it showed that it was 50% safe. The guys wouldn't wear it. They said you look like something that landed on a spaceship.
Yeah.
Well, at some point in time, you're going to have to say to them,
man.
"You want to get on the ice?
Yeah.
Put on the new hat. Shut up."
I mean, we both remember when the NHL decided everybody needed to wear helmets, and there was a tremendous blowback.
Oh.
They grandfathered in
Yep.
existing players,
Sure they
right?
did.
And said, so for a number of years we had a little mix, and then eventually those guys cycle out.
What I am really afraid of, Gary, is that the worms in Washington, the politicians, are going to say, "Oh, this is terrible. It's much too violent. It's like the Lions against the Christians. If this is what we want, a blood sport, we're going to write laws against this, and we're going to clean it up. The league won't do it. We'll do it." Well, let me tell you something. That'll be the kiss of death.
It will, yeah.
I mean, they can't get anything right down there.
But looking long term, even without congressional interference, I don't think it bodes well for the sport, as they go to the next generation. Because there are a lot of parents. I hear it at work. I hear, from my kids are, of course, beyond that point in their life. But I hear a lot of parents saying they don't want their kids playing football.
Oh, let me tell you something. I hear it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly stuff like, "I hope my grandson doesn't play
Right.
football," and I talked to my son about that, and
over time,
soccer is going to
dilute the talent, I think.
Oh, no question.
Yeah.
about it, no question.
I mean, if you have a great athlete as a kid, you could make the argument, why have him play football?
Yeah, play baseball.
Play baseball.
And play for 17 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Play golf. Do something because, football, you have a pretty significant likelihood of walking away with a serious injury
damaged
that's going
goods.
to affect you the rest of your life. Yeah. Your contracts aren't guaranteed. As soon as you can't play, you are gone. And out the door.
And the NFL's not interested in giving you health care the rest of your life either.
No. So, I really wonder about the long-term impact on the game. And it'll take a while. It'll take a generation, to really
Might not take that long.
manifest itself.
Yeah. I think we're going to start seeing it. A couple of those hits right over the middle where those guys were knocked silly this year.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I said to myself, this is insanity. Now,
but it's nothing compared. Remember the old Raiders, the John Madden Raiders with Atkinson and that other guy back there, and they would just headhunt.
They were.
Darryl Stingley, right?
Yeah.
But,
the hammer.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awful. Now, the Patriots have lost the number 1 draft choice and the number 4 draft choice in this whole ridiculous Deflategate thing. Peter King wrote an article yesterday and said, listen, this is stupid.
Right.
Give them back the draft choices.
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. No, it won't happen because the other owners don't want it to happen.
Right.
They want to see the Patriots taken down. I was surprised in talking to people about the Patriots losing. And the comments were the people around the country hate the Patriots.
Yeah, and there's no question about it. Most hated team in America, I think. And I think that's really a Belichick thing more than anything else. If Bill Belichick had stayed with the Jets and he had the same success with the Jets as he's had here, we would absolutely hate him. We'd call him arrogant, obnoxious. Why does he have to be such a jerk? And everybody else is saying that.
Yeah.
But can you imagine if he had stayed and not just not come here, but done this with the Jets?
Yep.
He would be public enemy number 1 here.
Oh, because I don't know how he and Woody Johnson would have got on.
Yeah. Winning cures a lot of things, though.
It does. You're absolutely right. Why don't Patriots assistant coaches make good head coaches or front office types? I think because in the Pat system, they look through a narrow window and don't see and get to participate in the big picture. I'm thinking of guys, Charlie Weiss.
Yeah.
Josh McDaniel, Romeo Crennel, Eric Mangini that went out and laid eggs.
Yeah, I think their biggest issue is probably they don't have Tom Brady.
There's something to be said there, too.
It helps when you have Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm. But I also don't think they get to participate in the whole... maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think that's true. I think, Bill's driving the ship. There's no question
No question. No question. I meant to talk about this back when we were talking about violence. You know what I think is a great system? The yellow card and the red card in soccer.
Yeah.
I think it should be adopted by the National Football League and the National Hockey League. Or does the NFL really and truly like the violence? That they think that keeps the ratings up? The NHL they're just clueless about the whole issue. I mean, they got a basketball guy running the National Hockey League.
Right. Yeah, I think the violence is part of the game. There's a certain blood sport aspect to it. And ESPN, I think, is a big part of that. I mean, they glorify the big, nasty hits. You'll see them over and over and over again.
Absolutely. Nonstop.
Right.
But you get a 15-yard penalty for grabbing a face mask.
Right.
All right, so you grab a face mask and you hold a guy. 15 yards, face mask.
Right.
What about this? When you twist the guy's neck.
Yeah.
And
That's where the danger is. Yeah.
that's it. And you should get a yellow card for the face mask and a red card for the twist. Out of the game.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Similar to, I mean, think of the...
Just like the Premier League.
The Aqib Talib play in the Super Bowl right down by the goal line where he just grabbed the guy and yanked him out of bounds. Flagrant. And there is some talk he could get suspended for a couple games at the start of the year.
Oh, well, what the hell if he touched the football wrong and it came up soft? He
Yeah.
could get 4-game suspension.
And $1 million fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Why aren't the Cleveland Browns successful? Well, this little tidbit was in the paper a few weeks ago. Cleveland's search committee for a new coach, headed by owners Jimmy and Dee Haslam, is expected to interview Cincinnati defensive coordinator Hugh Jackson. There's the answer right there.
Yeah, I was going
And
to say, I
that
think
little
that's the answer.
husband-wife combination called on draft day before Johnny Manziel, when Johnny Manziel was still available, and instructed the GM to get Manziel.
Yeah.
Now, they deny it, and the general manager denies it because he was told to deny it.
Yeah.
But that was the initial story that they had called down and said, get Johnny football.
Yeah, they weren't the only ones, right? I mean, supposedly Jerry Jones had to be talked out of it.
Meddling
Drafting
owners.
him. Yeah, that's the problem.
That's it. That's it right there. The Browns, as long as they're owned by this combo, are dead meat.
Yeah, well, they need to put somebody in charge.
Well, that's
Who
it,
knows
exactly.
what they're doing.
But you know what? If they hired me as the GM and paid me $6.5 million a year, and then started telling me who I'm going to draft and who I'm not, I just take that contract. Oh, 5 years. Oh boy.
Yeah.
And that's what they wanted me to do. That's what I'll do. But I'm going to get paid 5 years at $6.5 million a year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fall on my sword over that.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of franchises like that.
Yeah.
Same
yeah.
thing's happening in Detroit, right? Now that
The
wife,
Ford family, yeah.
Firestone Ford is in charge.
Um,
and she's, whatever she is, 86 years old. And
Yeah. How about the owners, too? Cameras get them. At the end of the game, they're down on the sidelines with the coach.
Right.
Hey, they have to get their FaceTime on TV. They're these publicity-hungry clowns. What the hell is it? The
Well,
guy
you know, they
that
made-
owns Atlanta, he's down there.
Yeah, Arthur Blank.
Arthur Blank, yeah.
The Home Depot guy. Yeah,
I mean, Jerry Jones, of course.
of course.
Yeah. I mean, what the hell's wrong with sitting up in your box and just saying, hey, Francois, get me another Budweiser. I'm enjoying this. I don't have to be down on the field patting them on the butt.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, you see it a lot with the teams that are successful. The ownership is kind of in the background. Even the Giants, the Maras, they're not involved on a day-to-day basis.
How many did you ever see?
Right.
The Bears, the Hallis family. I mean,
Seattle, Paul Allen, he put people in charge and he
He's
kind of
still
stays out of the way.
counting his money.
Yeah, trying to get to the bottom of the pile. Yeah.
By the way, folks, if you're wondering what everybody gets paid, there's a great website, SportRac. Sport, RAC.com. And it's got all the sports
Really?
and all the salaries. I was trying to stump it the other day. I was looking for how much this guy gets and how much that guy gets. And just basketball. Yep. Celtics. Whoop. There it is, right there.
Wow.
The whole damn thing. That's really easy to use, and the answers are right there. Give me your thoughts on Cam Newton.
Cam Newton. Yeah, I mean, great talent, right? I mean, he's just an extremely talented kid.
Kid is the word.
Yeah, I think he got a little ahead of himself,
Yes, he did.
you know, and worked, you know, a little too concerned about the dancing and all the bravado. And hopefully he learned his lesson, because I think he's a really talented
There's no
kid.
question.
He's got good leadership skills.
He is.
You can win a championship with that.
Oh, there's
guy.
no question.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
But he's got to get that squash straightened
Absolutely.
out. But you know what,
I
Gary?
think he will, though. I think
so,
this
too.
loss in the long term is going to be good for him.
You're absolutely right. You know, we look at these kids, 6'5", 240, 10 feet tall, bulletproof, all that stuff, okay? But their brains are still about the size of a golf ball.
Yeah.
They may be massive physically and brutes and all of that, but the thinking business hasn't followed. It only comes with maturity. Only comes with age and experience and all of that.
Yeah.
But boy, I'll tell you what. I hope his dad had a talk with him after that display he put on at the press conference.
Yeah. He needs to grow up a little bit, but I think he will. You know, he's one of those kids that just, his abilities are such that he has had nothing but success in his life. He's been the man since he was probably 11 years old.
He was always the first
You know.
one picked in the Little League. He was the
Right.
first one picked in Pop Warner. I'm sure he was a great basketball player.
Right.
And he was the cock of the walk.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And-
now he's got to deal with some adversity,
Yeah.
and let's see what happens. I think he's going to be okay. You know, I must admit I was a little bit down on him, really going into the playoffs.
I was too, because
You're saying, you know, you're acting like somebody who's won a lot, and you haven't won anything yet.
that's exactly
You know?
right. Yeah.
You haven't won anything
He
yet.
was full of himself.
He was very
as
full
we
of
used
himself.
to say in the old days.
And you know, like I say, I think to some degree it's really understandable. This kid's had nothing but success.
Of course.
He just expected. He expected the next step to just happen.
Guess
And
what? It didn't.
It didn't.
That's right. And I agree with you. Best thing that ever happened
Yeah,
for his development.
I think so.
Yeah.
They'll be right back there
Ordinary-
next year. They get a good shot.
Karen Garigian wrote a column, and she put Gerard Mayo on the list of the. She said, wait a minute now. He looks like you're in our book anyway. He doesn't crack a top 10 list of the Patriots' all-time best, but he stands up in the top 15. Well,
Best overall or best defensively?
defensive.
Okay.
So that's okay. It's fluff,
Yeah.
okay? But she then goes and starts listing the top 15. And I think she gets a little off the reservation here.
Okay.
Roman Pfeiffer?
Roman Pfeiffer
Yeah.
did his job
good
when he was here.
football
yeah,
player.
played well.
Yeah.
But at the very end of his career,
At the very end of his career. Not a long time past at
he
all.
was a role player here.
Yeah, I came from, what, L.A.?
Yeah.
Darrell Revis? 1
One
year?
year. Yeah.
1 year. One chapter does not a book make.
Yeah.
The other one that jumped out at me, Lawyer Malloy. Lawyer Malloy, big,
Yeah.
very physical,
Yeah. Had his
but
moments.
had his moments, yes,
Yeah.
but it was not a cover man.
No, he was a physical
Yep,
impact
Bolden,
type player. Yeah.
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 That's who I compare him to. And when he left the Patriots in a huff, when Belichick,
Brought Rodney in. Yeah, right.
that was the end of it.
Yeah.
And that was the end of Malloy's career.
Well, he went to Buffalo.
Yeah. And he did nothing to
Really
really,
didn't do too much.
No. No, and he was gone
Stuck
shortly
around a
after
few
that. Yeah,
years,
stuck around a couple more years.
He caught on maybe with Atlanta or somebody for
Yeah,
a little while.
yeah, but he didn't. Nobody was singing
No.
his praises. They were saying, Belichick knew what he was doing. He was all washed up. Well, that had nothing to do with it. I don't
Yeah, he
think.
was one of the first examples of Belichick. What we now talk about Belichick getting rid of him a year too early instead of a year too late.
Yeah, boy, I'm telling you something.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
So, those are the guys that jump out at me that I'm not too wild about.
Assume Ty Law's on that list.
Tyler Law's on that list. Richard Seymour, Mike Vrabel, Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, Lawyer Malloy, Vince Wilfork, Roman in the Gloman Pfeiffer, Teddy Johnson, Darrell Revis. I left one out. Rodney Harrison. He wasn't here that long.
He was an impact player when he was here.
He was.
He really was. And it was more, he brought the attitude.
He did.
He was.
It was his
Big
personality.
piece of that attitude
Yeah.
on that team, and that attitude carried them a long way.
Steve Nelson.
Yeah,
He's not on the list.
yeah. I think I would put him on before Roman Pfeiffer. I can tell you that.
Andre Tippett.
Not on the list. Again.
Tommy Addison, going back to the
back.
early days.
Yeah.
He was the best linebacker they had in the 60s.
Yeah.
Jim Lee Hunt. Now, granted, the AFL wasn't what the NFL was, but I'll tell you, Hunt looked like he was a man playing against boys out there.
Yeah.
So I like them better than her choices.
Even Bonaconi when he was here.
Oh, jeepus, I forgot all about Buonaconti.
And then he left. And
Yeah, now you want to talk about tackling machine.
yeah.
Oof.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that was just something I looked
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Roman
No.
Pfeiffer's a really interesting name when you think about
at.
it.
Yeah.
Andre-
Really?
And not Andre Tippett. Really?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Yeah. I question that for sure.
Now, I don't think Mark Farinella is any great shakes as a football writer for the
Yeah.
Attleboro Sun Chronicle. But he did come up with an interesting column. Who do you keep and who do you dump?
Okay.
He's got Brady and he's got Garoppolo in reserve. But let me ask you a question. Do you think that Garoppolo would bring a number one draft choice?
I don't think so.
I know he'd bring a 2.
Yeah. The thing is, the way this penalty works,
Yeah.
if the Patriots...
That's only for this year, though.
Right, but they've lost their first round pick.
Yeah.
But if they were to trade for, say, the 15th pick in the first round,
If they don't, they can't
they would
pick 'em.
lose that.
They can't pick
And
them.
they'd get their 32nd pick back.
Yeah,
Their
or
30th
29th pick.
29th pick
Yeah.
back. But, so it's really, I don't see them moving up into the first round at all.
No, they're not. But I think what I'm saying is, do you dump Garoppolo for?
think you
if
keep-
you could get a number one in 2018.
I do not, because
Yeah.
I think we have a short window and we need to win
Okay.
this coming year.
Garoppolo, I'd like to see him get a chance.
Yeah.
Because, mobility is a lot in today's football game. Garoppolo's mobile.
Yeah.
He can move around. He can run. He's a big kid. I'd love to see him get a chance to play.
Yeah.
And not only that, but
It's not going to happen here, though.
but
That's part of the problem.
also can't hurt.
Right.
I mean, if he gets out there and doesn't really look like the greatest thing that ever happened, he's rusty. He hasn't had a chance. But if he gets out there and he really plays well,
Yeah.
maybe he can be,
I think teams might be a little dubious of taking Patriot backup quarterbacks.
Well,
You know, a
Brian
bunch of them,
Hoyer and
Matt Castle.
and the big kid there, the 6'6" with the
Yeah. So
well, yeah,
I don't know. Now there's a lot of desperate teams.
there is.
You
And
know?
they're also going to say this kid's got to be well coached.
Right.
And if just a little pixie dust fell off of Brady onto him, he could be golden.
Yeah. You talk about Cleveland. Cleveland couldn't use him. They're going to let Manziel go.
Oh, yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
If they were willing to give you their second-round pick, which is in the top 5.
Yeah, yeah. Now,
I think they'd listen to that.
Manziel, will he get picked up by anybody?
I don't think so until he dries out, goes through some type of rehab.
He's got to prove himself.
He's got it.
I think Canadian football may be where he ends up.
Yeah, it could be.
But
even then,
he might thrive up there.
He's such a ticking time bomb.
Oh, I know.
Until you get the kid straightened out.
And let me tell you something. There'd be plenty of temptation up in Canada. I mean, those people up there drink like crazy.
Yeah.
Scott Chandler, back up to Gronk.
Yeah.
I mean, he laid an egg
terrible.
the second half
Really
of the year.
disappointing.
Yeah. Do you cut him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I do.
You saved the money. You certainly wouldn't be any worse off with the number 3 draft choice and pick the best tight end that's on the list at that point.
And once again, the Patriots will do what they always do. They'll go for the second-line free agents. They're not going to sign any premium free agents. We know that.
Once the draft is over,
they'll get to
then they start looking at the guys that they would have drafted if the draft had continued, and they'll go after them and try to sign them. And they usually do a pretty good job of signing those kind of guys.
Yeah.
Running backs.
Yeah.
Well, did you re-sign Steven Jackson?
No.
No?
No.
I thought he had his moments.
Nah, I think he's
done.
Done.
LeGarrette Blount.
I might bring him into camp, but I wouldn't be satisfied. I think they need to look to bring in another talent at running back.
Keep James White?
Yeah, I would say keep White, keep Lewis, Dion Lewis, hope he comes back. But we don't know about his durability.
Brandon Bolden, he plays special teams, so he's got a job.
If he's your 5th running back, fine.
Yeah.
But you're going to need, I think you need to bring in another.
Dion Lewis is tiny, and he plays out there with the big boys. He's going to get hurt again.
Right. So maybe you want to cut his workload a little bit, right?
Yeah, they had him out there, and they were running his legs off.
Make it more situational.
Yeah.
So, and you can get the running backs, right?
They're out there. Plenty of them.
You can get them in the 5th round, 6th round.
I still like Steven Jackson. Brandon LaFell.
Yeah.
Wide receiver. Cut him?
Well, I'm not sure what his contract situation is. He's another guy I'd like to see come to camp.
Okay.
And he obviously had health issues last year.
He had to have.
You never know what the Patriots say. There's no way of knowing.
I keep Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, and Keyshawn Martin. I think Martin has a future
I
with
think they
them.
like Martin.
Yeah.
I think Brady likes Martin.
Yeah, he throws to him.
Yeah.
Aaron Dobson.
Yeah.
Hit the bricks, buddy. Brandon Gibson. I don't even know him.
Yeah.
Brian Timms. What's he been, 2 or 3 years? Totally injured and
got
about 5 plays he's gotten into.
Yeah. They need to add another position. They need to add talent, no question.
I'm cutting Marcus Cannon. I'm not wild about Cameron Fleming either.
Yeah.
He's young, though.
He is young. They did re-sign him, right? And
Yeah.
I think they like a lot of those young interior offensive linemen. They've spent some draft picks the last 2 years on offensive linemen.
Try to bring Ryan Wendell back. I mean, listen.
Yeah, I don't think the world's going to be beating a path to his door.
No,
in free agency. So
he's been hurt. Bring him back and see what he looks like.
Yeah, at least bring him to camp.
Yeah. If Solda and Volma can stay reasonably healthy, they're still good tackles.
Yeah, they're solid.
Yeah.
And
after that, they're going to have to find a couple of veterans to play.
Yeah, they need a swing tackle. They need somebody that can play both tackle positions. I would prefer to see them sign a veteran.
Oh, yeah.
Who's played in the league.
Yeah, because we're missing 2 draft choices.
Right.
So we got to do it by.
So again, it's not going to be it's going to be one of these 2nd or 3rd line guys.
Yeah. On the defense, I really like Akeem Hicks.
Yeah.
I hope they sign him. And of course, Jabal Sheard, they got him.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see them extend him.
Sheard?
Yeah, he's on the second year of a 2-year deal, I think.
Yeah. He had a good year last year. There's no
Yeah.
question about it.
And we
was
got
an
Easley
impact signing.
and Trey Flowers and Chris Jones on the injured list. Bring all them back.
Yeah. Malcolm Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Brown looks very good.
Yeah. Ninkovich, Alan Branch. I like Alan Branch. I'm a big
Yeah.
Alan Branch fan.
Yeah, they're deep on the D
Yeah.
line. I mean, they've drafted high there the last couple of years.
Yeah,
right?
and-
First round picks.
Saliga, I don't know.
Depth. He's depth.
Depth. He's depth. And if they can afford to keep him, keep him. If not, linebackers, well,
They need some depth.
Jamie Collins,
Yeah.
Jonathan Freeney, and Dante Hightower. But you're right, after that, Dakota Watson, Jonathan Bostic,
Yeah.
Darius Fleming, Kevin Snyder. Then you got Dane Fletcher that was on the disabled list all year.
Right. Well, they need depth. When Hightower or Collins, they both had injuries this year, and it was very noticeable.
Oh,
when those
was
guys
it
were out.
ever?
I mean,
Dante Hightower is getting pretty damn close to irreplaceable out there.
yeah.
I mean, he is.
You can say the same thing about Collins, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Collins brings that speed.
Chandler Jones, I've read a couple of articles that this would be the time to move him.
I wouldn't be shocked by it. I would not be shocked by it. I don't think they're going to sign him long term because he's going to be somebody's going to pay him $12 million a year,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's not worth it.
And synthetic marijuana, too.
Right.
That little deal didn't go over too
I'm
good
sure
with
it
the
didn't.
Patriots.
I'm sure it didn't.
Okay. Now, Peter King's article about Deflategate being
Yeah.
unfair, do you think that's... Now, we already talked about that.
Well, I think it's a valid point,
It is.
but there's no way they're getting those draft picks back.
Now, where was he sooner than this? Why did he wait till now for writing this? Why did Peter King all of a sudden make up his mind, oh, gee, the Patriots got screwed?
Yeah, it's unclear.
Yeah.
It's unclear.
Well,
But it's not going to happen. So we can be highly confident of that.
I think you're absolutely right.
So they lost their 1 this year. They're 4 next year,
Yeah, and that's it.
and that's it.
Well, we got 5 minutes to go here, so let's just touch a little bit on baseball.
Okay.
We're going
Spring's not far
the Red
away.
Sox are going to be the big subject in the next show.
Okay. Yeah.
Baseball America arrived yesterday at my house,
Sign of spring.
sign of spring,
Yeah.
with their top 100 prospects.
Always interesting reading.
Yeah, I often wonder, who comes up with this list? Do they have a bunch of housebound agrophobes or something that,
Yeah.
or is this computer driven? Because they can't have and pay a huge scouting staff to scour all the levels of minor league play and submit big wordy reports on all these players.
I wouldn't think so.
No. So I think
No,
there's a
it's
lot of
subscription
guesswork
based.
going
Yeah.
on here. The number 3 prospect, Juan Moncada of the Red Sox.
Number 3 in all of baseball. Yeah, people love that kid.
Yeah, tell me why.
Potential.
He's an athlete. There's
Yeah.
no question about that. But that doesn't make him a great baseball player.
Well, we'll see. I think this is going to be a big year.
Number
for him.
3 out of 100, top 100.
I've looked at those lists in the past, and it's interesting. I think you can go on their website and you can go back and see lists from prior years, and like any list like that, saying if you go back
Lots
and
of
look,
hits and
there's
lots of
lots
misses.
of hits and lots of misses.
Lots of misses.
Yeah.
The number 15 overall, Andrew Benintendi.
Yeah.
1 year they've had him.
Number
He
one.
batted
pick.
.313.
Number 1 pick. Yeah. People love him.
Outfielder.
Yeah.
It's talk that he may jump to AA. That's fine. They want to put him on the fast track to get him up here, or trade bait.
Well, I was going to say he could be trade bait because they're very deep in the outfield right now
Yep.
with young people. So,
Number 18, Rafael Devers,
yeah.
a hitting third baseman with no speed at all. He gets a 20 in the rankings.
For speed, really?
20 to 80 is the way they rank
Yeah,
them.
that's pretty low.
For speed, 20, yeah. And then you got to jump all the way to 89 for Michael Kopech.
Not familiar.
He's a pitcher, and he can throw the ball, but he's able.
Yeah.
So, is this good? 4 out of the top 100 for the Red Sox?
You know, it's probably about average, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's 30 teams.
Yeah. So you figure everybody gets 3.
Everybody gets
Yeah,
3,
and the Red
maybe
Sox
4.
get 4 because we're a big deal.
Yeah, and they have generated a fair amount of talent in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the
Oh, yes.
all the young people that aren't
Yeah.
on that list anymore.
And this couple, too, that we traded out to San Diego.
Yeah.
I was sorry to see the shortstop go.
Yeah, I like that trade, though.
Oh, yeah.
Putting
Kimball
Kimbrel
is,
on. Yeah,
he's the
real
he
deal.
really is. Watch his arm fall off in spring training.
Yeah.
But
But he's the real deal,
I
I
think you're absolutely right.
And he wants the ball.
And listen, we can't give up the ship here without the Panda report. What in the name of heaven are the Red Sox going to do with him?
I don't know. I think you just have to play it out. I mean, yeah, the pictures are ugly coming back from spring
Unbelievable.
training,
I mean,
and it's disappointing, but
how much do you weigh? I don't know. I don't weigh myself.
right.
Yeah. Were you told to lose weight?
But
No.
Yeah, the organization didn't insist upon it.
Farrell started. He put his foot in his mouth when he said, well, he was told, then he had to backtrack the next day. Well, he was told to come in better shape.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's and you're stuck with him for 3 more years.
There's no way we can get rid of him and Ramirez. Would the Red Sox bite the bullet and just put them both on irrevocable waivers?
They might, but that's not their style.
Yeah. All right, folks. Gary and I had hoped to get to the Red Sox and the Patriots both, but we gave the Patriots a good talking to.
We did.
So next time, it'll be the Red Sox turn. Eventually,
Spring will be in the air.
Eventually, we'll get to the Bruins and the Celtics.
Yeah.
Fans, thanks for tuning in. See you next time.